Hello and welcome to our class. Here, our last class we talked about installation. We talked about installing the PS on your system and launch it while staring at it. You just have to stare and look at our new environment. It's a very new environment. Everything is looking new. Okay, but not to worry, we're gonna take care of that shortly. So this is Photoshop, and we said Photoshop is a pixel based designer. So what that means is, if now we have basic on our board, and when I try to zoom, you see something, you observe some little rectangles. Okay, that makes it a pixel based graphics designer. Yeah, you see, that's it. Because I know some people will be like, what was pixels? Well, what do you mean by pixel? What's pixel? You know what I mean. What pixel? This is an example when I talked about pixel. So yeah, so looking at our new environment, we observe so many things. Now we are more familiar with files, because even Microsoft Word has file. In fact, all the programs has file and edit. So the top of it is familiar with everybody. Okay, but it's basically called a main menu. Top of it is main menu, while the one beneath is an option menu. So the whole of this is called a main menu. So this is an option menu, while the one at the left hand side is called the toolbar, where all the tools lies. So it does everything, yeah. So looking at Photoshop, we talked about at the top of it is called a main menu. So after the main menu, we have the option menu. So at the left hand side of it, we have our toolbar. That's our toolbar. Then at the right hand side, we have our swatches. We have colors, we have library, we have adjustments. Okay, we'll talk about adjustment, layers, we have channels, we have paths. We're going to talk about everything in Photoshop. So beneath, I think in layers, we have kind. We'll talk about kind, how it works, the effect and mode. They will talk about the blending modes, the blending options, the opacity, fill. We'll talk about how to manipulate the layers. Layers in Photoshop is very important. Whatever you're doing in Photoshop and you don't understand the layers, okay, so let's talk about the basics. So looking at the main menu, we have the file, we have edit, we have image, we have layer, we have type, select, we have filter, we have 3D, we have view, we have windows, we have type. Now before we go into talking about files and edit and images, let me show you something quickly on Windows. When I click on Windows, let's move to workspace. Now in this area we have different types of workspace. Now Photoshop is used in many categories, different type of designs. We use Photoshop in different type of designs. So when you go to Windows and you click on workspace, you see essentials. That's the default part. Essentials, that's what I'm using right now. Essentials. So see essentials, you see 3D, you see graphic design and web, you see motion, see painting, see photography. Now beneath, probably you can reset your essentials, probably if there are some wrong clicks. Okay, you can reset your essentials. Now okay, let me show you briefly what I mean, because some will be confused. Now let's say if I'm working and mistakenly I move my tools around and I don't really know how to place them back, so I just have to go to Windows. Since I'm on essential, I just go to reset essential, so everything will go back to its normal position. So that's what I was trying to explain earlier. So let's talk further. Beneath we have reset essentials. I just talked about it. We have new workspace, delete workspace, keyboard shortcuts and menus. So of course we all know what shortcuts are all about, or what it's talking about, but we're going to learn briefly on how to use shortcuts, because if you want to be a pro, you have to study how to make use of shortcuts, because makes work more faster and easier. Yeah, so let's talk more. Let's talk more about Photoshop. So when you click on files, of course we know what file does. It contains, if you want to create a new file, you click on file, open. Now browsing bridge is a linked browsing bridge. It means we have bridge, Adobe Bridge. So if your Photoshop, if you have bridge in your Photoshop and probably you want to pick some items or from some textures from bridge, you have to browse in bridge. Like when I click in bridge, it automatically links my Photoshop to my bridge. Then I have a kind of easy access to get into bridge. So that's it. So we have open as smart object, open recent objects. Like if I have recent jobs, open recent objects. Then we have close all, close and go to bridge, close all the system, move to bridge, just a command. Yeah, so we have save as. Now let's look into the area of export, because after all my works are done, the way I export my project is very important. How I export my project. So inside export we have quick export as PNG format. Of course I'm going to teach you guys about PNG formats, like PNG and JPEG formats. Yeah, we're going to move into that shortly. So let's talk further. We have export preferences. Okay, what that means is export preferences. It's basically exports every linked items you used in designing, so it exports the preferences. So we have save for web. I mostly use save for web. I love using save for web. Yeah, and I'll tell you the reasons why when the time is due. So let's talk. We have general, we have place embedded, place linked, and yeah. So we have edit. Under edit we have copy, paste, search, check spellings. Yeah, very important. Check spellings whenever you're probably making a billboard and there are some write-ups for spellings. You have to click on check spellings to check if your write-ups are good, if you're good to go. Yeah, so we have so many stuff. We have perspective warp. we have free transform. We're going to learn about everything in Photoshop. So we are taking a tour in Photoshop, and taking a tour takes a very, very, very long time. So let's just keep going. Yeah. So images, we have mode. We have arrow. I'm going to teach you how the difference between RGB colors and CMYK and lab colors. RGB colors, CMYK, lab colors. Yeah, very important. Then we have the black and white, which is the grayscale. Yeah. So we have the image size, canvas size, image rotation. Yeah. Trim, reverse all. Then we have layers. So layers, we duplicate layers, we rename layers, we style layers, we fill layers, we adjust layers, layer masks, vector masks, create clipping masks, smart object, video layers. Everything about layers. When you go under layers, you merge layers, you flatten layers. We'll have to learn about flatten as well. So we have to take note of everything here, because everything is going down in this class. So we'll go to type. We have panels, we have anti-arrays, orientation, extrude to 3D, create work path, convert shape, etc. We have a select all layers, deselect layers, find layers, isolate layers, create range, focus areas, select mask, edit in quick mask mode, load selection. We have glow, we have modify, filter. Here is another area of concentration, filter. Now most of us has love for photography, so probably if you're a photographer or you are a photographer, when you take your photos in raw, we have JPEG photography, we have raw. So when you take your pictures in raw, launch them down to Photoshop, you making use of the camera raw filter. Very powerful, very creative. So under filter you find the camera raw filter, very important. So using the camera raw filter, you make your photos amazing. Yeah. So under filter we have our camera raw filter, we have our lens correction, we have our liquify. Liquify, very strong and very powerful tool. Liquify. Vanishing points, very powerful tool. Under filter we have our 3D, we have our 3D, we have our blur, we have our blur gallery, distort, noise. We're going to talk about all these. Then beneath we have our extensions, our plugins. Yeah. So under 3D, everything about 3D, new 3D layer and file, 3D extensions and match, everything on 3D. So we have our view. Now let's say show grid. It makes grid to appear. We have to learn about grid and know how it works. That is under view. So rule will add extra, adding ruler to it to measure your job, to know what you're doing. Now under Windows, now let's move to another important part. You can't work with Photoshop if you don't know where some things are hidden. You can't work with Photoshop. Most of the times you launch Photoshop and you keep on asking, where can I find this? Where can I find that? Where can I add colors? Where can I get styles? Where can I get swatches? Where can I where are the layers? I'm now looking for layers. I can't see any layers. Or probably the channels, or the device preview to preview what you've done. You can. So most of the times we keep on having these issues, and I want us to understand that whenever you are looking for whatever you are looking for in Photoshop, brushes, histogram, glyphs, modifier keys, navigators, notes, etc., you just have to go to Windows. When you go to Windows, you just look carefully and you'll find what you're looking for. Okay, everything is under Windows. You activate them the way you want. Okay, now let me activate character. So it's right here. Now I have character here. Let's activate glyphs. Yeah, I use glyphs a lot. Nice. We have glyphs here. Let's see. I think my system is having issue. Okay, he's back. Welcome back, system. So yeah, so whatever you want to activate, you go right here, click on it, and it's done. So let's see, properties. What do I need? Swatches. I don't need swatches. Channels, characters. I think I have channels. I think, yeah, I think that's it. I need action as well. Yeah, good. So you activate whatever you're looking for. You go to Windows and you activate. So this is it. And thank you for your time, and